Alright, hello everybody. I hope I sound alright. I did change up my audio settings just before the stream. I think the reason for the desync between my volume and the stream's volume is because, well, with SteelSeries Sonar, you're supposed to set your computer audio to use the gaming channel, and then it routes everything. It just works like that. I don't know. But there's also, obviously, on my computer, there's the normal headphone channel that that everything goes to, just by default without sonar and all that. So on that channel, or that audio setting, the volume is at like 22 instead of 100. So I just upped it to 100. And of course, everything is way too loud. So now everything in SteelSeries Sonar is like basically down, like all the way down. Of course, just to not have my ears blown out. But also, let's see, there is, I got Nightbot running, at least on Twitch. Let me check on YouTube. I don't know, doesn't seem to work. I don't know why. Nightbot, as cool as it is, it doesn't actually allow you to use it. Oh, there it is. Okay, so it does work. It doesn't actually allow you to use one account for multiple platforms. You have to like sign in through YouTube to add it to your YouTube account. And you have to go and sign out and then sign in through Twitch to add it to your Twitch account. So now you're managing two different Nightbot accounts with separate commands and configuration settings and everything, and that's just a hassle. So the only reason I use it is for the commands, and they're all the same. I only have like 5 commands, so it's fine. And then any moderation settings are just at the default, but you know, it's whatever. I don't have to worry about moderation too much because it's just me, and I can just you know, moderate manually. I have the chats open and everything. So, alright. Let's just get into it, right? So, what are we going to be doing today? Well, I want to be able to get the mines to work when we teleport to the world, because what we did last time, we actually got a bit of progress. We would just go to, let me just start up the server here. We made this mine command, and what it does is it will get the schematic, the default schematic that we have. It's kind of hard-coded right now, but we'll get that fixed later. It gets the location from the mine world that we created, which is a void world. It gets the spawn location from there that we already set, and then we teleport them to that spawn location. But we also center them by adding 0.5 on the X and Z. And then we get the paste data of the schematic, right? So we have the schematic, we get the what blocks are going to be set to what, basically. And that takes in the location that we're going to be pasting from, or pasting to, and that spits out the positions according to that location or relative to it. And then we get a 5-second delay to spawn in, to send those fake blocks to the player. That's only because if we're changing worlds, then they won't be able to see it yet. So if we were to join in server here. Alright, so there we go. We have this here. This is our spawn block. You should be able to hear the game now as well. I completely forgot I had it muted the last stream, so but that's fine. You should be able to hear it now. Hopefully it's not too loud. I just turned it down a little bit just then. So here we have this is the world spawn. and whenever we do /mine, it teleports us to the world spawn, because this is where every schematic and mine is going to be pasted at. And here we have our mine being pasted in. This is these are all fake blocks. But we don't like that, right? Because there's a delay, and they're going to be teleported to this block, and then it's going to load in around them, and that's not very visually appealing. That's not how it should work, right? So what we want to do instead is we want to inject all these fake blocks into the player's chunk loading packet, because when they change worlds or whatever, it's gonna it's obviously gonna teleport them here, and then by the time they're loaded in, the fake blocks should just be loaded with the chunks that are loaded around them. And that begs another question. What if the schematic is so big that it's like outside of their render distance or whatever, or like the server render distance, you know, like those chunks aren't being loaded or something? That's another question that I have no idea about, so we'll have to test it with a bigger schematic. But for now, this is where we're at. We're just gonna have to keep poking around and figure this out, because despite the servers that have accomplished this already, you know, the big servers that have accomplished this with fake blocks for their private mines, and there's quite a few big servers that use packet blocks and fake blocks for their private mines in order to save on server performance. Despite the amount of servers that do this, the general public has no clue. Like I'm sure, like, you can figure it out, obviously, but you know, they're obviously all the plugins that they use for those big servers are all private and custom made for those servers. So you know, that's something now that we have to figure out, because they're not going to release their code for it. So and there's no documentation on this stuff. It's all, you just gotta poke around and experiment, and that's pretty much what we have to do. Which is really unfortunate, because it's difficult for packets. But I don't know, let's see what we can do. If I remember correctly, the chunk loading packet that we have to basically use, let's make it in our mines module, the listener. Let's go. Say listeners packet, and we'll make a chunk load. Chunk load packet. Let's see, how did I name the other packet listeners I have already? Okay, yeah, it's suffixed with packet. So let's go ahead and close all this other stuff, because it is getting messy. And we'll look at this interact packet, so to remind ourselves how we set this up. So we implement packet listener. Should be our own packet listener. Yeah. I don't think it has access to it. So we have to give this module access to it, which this is from the MS common module. So we need the, let's see, does MS common, no, NMS common, we should do it, I think. Should be reloading. No, come on. It's still loading. Taking a while there, Gradle. Yeah, alright. There, our packet listener class. And this is basically just like the normal bucket listener class or interface. So now we need our annotation here. And we need to figure out which packet we're gonna be dealing with here. So on chunk load, and we need to pass in the packet, the player, and obviously the packet context. Well, I think this one's actually optional. We just do player. Just get this all set up right now. Let's see. Okay, not null. Alright, now it is client bound level chunk with light packet. That's what we're looking for. So now we need packet handler, and we need to say direction equals packet direction. It is client bound, as is in the name. That's the only required thing we need for the annotation here. There are other options. There's a priority, and if it should ignore cancel, just like normal events in Bucket or listeners. All right, let's see. Packet dot. So there's chunk data here. That's about. It's like the most I know right now. So client bound level chunk packet data. Client bound level chunk data. Chunk packet data. So chunk data. And chunk data has the read buffer. And I believe this read buffer is what we have to search through to find the proper information and figure out what we have to change in this read buffer. I believe the next question is, how do we write it back to it? How do we write back to the this buffer after we change it? Or how do we, I think what we have to do is actually cancel sending this packet but then send our own packet with the new data in it. I think that might be what we have to do. So let's see here. So this is the buffer. It is a friendly byte buff from Minecraft itself. Read buffer. The read buffer, just like a normal buffer that we've been using to store items in our backpacks. Oh, hi, Jem. We have to read. I think to debug, we have to read out what is in it. There's a byte array. I'm sure there's stuff in the byte array. There are integers, and maybe there's a size. Like, let's see. That's all right, Jem. You don't need to understand. It's fine. Can I actually say read buffer dot read int? There's an int. I assume it would throw some kind of exception if there's no int. So I'm just going to say catch exception here. And we'll just say, okay, how can we just simply read through everything here? There's probably not any documentation for this, as I said, but we'll click it just in case. Yeah, no, there's nothing. because it is Minecraft code. Currently byte so it extends byte buff, and that is a netty buffer. So that there is some Java stuff to it. This is just a Minecraft version of, it's like their own byte buffer pretty much. Yes, thanks, Jim. Are you watching on Twitch with the 1080p quality? Yeah, it's 1080 max, but YouTube goes up to 1440 because Twitch doesn't like 1440 for new streamers. Yes, thanks, Jim. Are you typing a ChatGPT for these scripts right now? Is that what you're doing? Anyways, so what I'm gonna do to help me figure this out is I'm actually gonna use ChatGPT myself, because otherwise I'd have to look through everything myself, and it's confusing. So again, here's my Trello that I made last stream, and I opened up ChatGPT here in a new account just for streaming. So let's see how can we use ChatGPT constructively and not to, not to do everything for me. That's the real goal, right? So let's say, let's go here. Say Minecraft has their own implementation of a byte buff, and that is actually just one F. It's an abstract class from let's say IO netty buffer. Right, so that should give it the context it needs. And then let's say you're clogging up my chat here. Okay, and then we'll say, how can I'll say it's basically like let's see, what else do we use here? Yes, you're actively chatting paragraphs from ChatGPT, thank you. Let's see here. Right, the backpack. Codec, not the data, but codec. So it uses a byte array output stream, or it's basically a data output stream, or data input stream. Basically, that's basically a data input stream. How can I read through this to determine how the data is structured, including control byte array? How can I safely read through it? Alright, and then I'm gonna assume this will be fine. It's not self-describing. There's no generic automatic 100% way. Byte buff is a byte array, right? Yeah. So there's an integer. Okay, so a reader, a writer, and a readable. Of get byte reader plus offset. Hmm. Followed by Minecraft does not use Java primitives. Fine, right? 1 to 5 bytes. Maybe it's continuation. Right, well, you know, this would be so much easier with documentation. Yes, I can Google everything, except the problem with the topic that I'm trying to research, there's no documentation for anything on packets and stuff. This is like Minecraft source code stuff. There's like almost no resources out there for it. Also, ChatGPT is much faster than Googling. And that's why it's good to. It's not an evil tool. I mean, you know, unless you're using it just to copy and paste the code into your project and you have no idea what it's actually doing or why it does it or how to implement it into your project correctly. Like there's a lot of people that just do that and then wonder why it doesn't work like that. If you're just using it like that, then you're doing it wrong, right? Like you can't just do that, right? Right. So basically, reader plus offset. I assume the offset is like a for loop or something. All right. So I don't know. The problem is we don't know what's in this. I wish there was just a way to tell like what kind of object is at what position in the buff. I mean, this kind of tells you, but it's like you kind of have to understand this. 005 length, short or variant, followed by hello, right? And this is hello. Yes, these are, as I said, ASCII or hex stuff, and you can convert this. So that's yeah. So that I do remember we went over that in my college classes actually. I don't need to know. I don't think we need to. I don't think any of this stuff will help me. So let's rename this to just buff dot is readable. But it's not readable. I'll be right back. It's like 2 seconds. Alright, we're back. So, readable, okay, let's, the max screen length. So there's all these public stuff we can at least look at. Public key sign, okay, use a JSON. There's tracked codec depth. Or a billion to do that, and then there's also a codec depth byte. I don't know what that means yet. That's the problem. Right, JSON with codec. Value. There's a read collection, but it's like all this stuff. Right. Okay. Oh, okay. So it's a collection. Read list. Man, all this stuff. Enum sets. Optional. Alright, let me just say. Let me just write a context as to what I'm using it for. I'm sure with the Minecraft, the new versions that are coming out that are unobfuscated, it'll be a lot easier to figure this out, but I'm not using that version, and I'm honestly not sure even how to get the source code for that. So, well, let's see. I'm using this, trying to understand the package. So I can write new block data to it. I need to know how to read like before how I can properly navigate or read it. The package is very well defined, one of the most complex points in the protocol. Okay, well, can I click on it and see? Actually, I might actually be able to. Well, there's a codec, registry, and package. So there's a stream codec here. Maybe we can use this. There's the write, so they write the int of, let's see, oh, is it private, right? Where's it's being used? Anywhere in here? Being used anywhere? No. It's gotta be used somewhere in here. Oh. Oh, well, it's in the codec. So what is this X and this does it? Okay, so the chunk, I believe. The chunk, yeah, the chunk position. So that's, so yeah, it's based on chunk. So chunk position X and Z, that's, you know. And then they write chunk data, which is the package data, right? And that's the, right. So you can write to it, right? So how do they write to it? They do pass in the buffer. And there's also light data, which is, I want to assume it's like the same thing as that. Alright, so there's get X and get Z for it. Right, so this is the overall packet, of course. So again, write uses this registry currently byte file, and they have a height maps codec. So let's see what this is saying. by stuff local. Modify the decoded chunk data before it's written back to the buffer. Nature logic layout. So the chunk goes the height maps to MPT. The chunk data, which is a byte array. List of block entity info, and then light data. So the chunk data, there's the byte buff, contains how many blocks are in there that aren't there. A palleted container of block states and biomes. So if we go based on this, let's see. We have chunk data. There's a byte array. This might be the first one. Let's see, byte, and this will be the chunk data, which is a byte array. And chunk data contains block states, yeah. What chunk data contains? There's a compressed blob of for each section, Y. Okay, so alright, so we have this is data. And let's rename this to chunk packet data. Okay, so this is chunk data. And we're gonna do the same thing, I suppose, that we did with storing our stuff in our backpacks. Here, when we are decoding it, so we're gonna make a byte input stream and a new byte array input stream. So final byte input stream. Where was it? It was data input stream. New data input stream, new byte array input stream, and we're going to pass in the chunk data. Alright, so hopefully this will allow us now to, if it, okay, so the short is the amount of blocks in something, so non-error block count equals in.read short. And this will throw an exception, so we have to catch that. Try. I keep accidentally hitting like page up and page down when I'm just trying to hit the home and the end key. IO exception. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and dot error, and we'll pass E in there. Okay. There's a so there's that short, okay, and then there's a palleted container of block states. So alright, well, don't get chunk. I get chunk. Alright, and this actually, okay, yeah. There actually is no get chunk, but there is an X and Z for the chunk coordinates. I can't get Z. So we have the X and Z coordinates of it, but not the actual chunk. So the chunk, I don't think it's actually stored anywhere. There's a chunk pose, and it's just X and Z. Chunk packet info block state. Right, so they're passing the chunk and the chunk packet info, which is this, which is info on block states. Right. Right. So it doesn't store the actual chunk or the level of chunk. It only stores the X and Z coordinate of it. So that means we have to find out how to get it. So I would assume we'll be doing it for the world that they're in. There's no, I mean, there's a chunk data, but that's not gonna give us the chunk. No. So we're just gonna have to assume that the world is this, and then we'll say level chunk. World get chunk at. These might be block coordinates that it's expecting. X coordinate, no, okay. It is expecting chunk coordinates. Yeah. Let's say this, okay, and then this, and then. Oh yeah, I need to actually craft chunk. And then you. No. Can't handle that. Doesn't. Okay. Great. Craft world, maybe. Get chunk at. There we go. Packet, get X, packet, get C. So now we have the level chunk. And we can say chunk dot. And then now we have all of the different stuff with a chunk. But what does it want us to do with that? Or internally packet chunk data. Then little chunk section. See, sometimes it doesn't know what it's talking about, so we can't just trust everything it's saying to do. And this might not even be, well, actually, yeah. Okay, let's see. Set blocks. So if we could just see this, that would actually save us a lot of all this nonsense down here. Let me just comment all this out real quick. So we can just set block state here. That would mean that we need to go private NMS handler. Load packet. NMS factory, get NMS handler. Okay. NMS. Actually, I want to say. Wait, block handler. Get wait blocks. Okay, so we would have to create a method for that. And we don't actually need to store the NMS handler. Anywhere, there we go. Okay. So we need to get their fake blocks, and that is stored for NMS version, I believe. So that means we have to go. Don't do that. Okay. Here we go here. Make it nope. Fake block handler. Here we go. Yeah. So what we're doing here is we're storing the fake blocks that the player should be seeing. And what that means is whenever they change worlds, we're gonna have to clear it. But could also be another problem because they're going to be changing worlds to go to their mine. And if you clear it when they change worlds, then, you know, how do we handle this? So what if we make another map for, like, queued fake blocks? You'd say map UID map simple block pose material queued fake blocks. That way when they change worlds we can clear the fake blocks map, because that implies that it's already well, not the whole map, but clear the value map, not the whole map, because that would imply that they change worlds and those fake blocks are no longer rendered for them, so there's no point in storing them still. So we'll go here, handle world or on world change. And we'll say make blocks. I'm gonna do the same thing up here. Player get unique ID. And we'll say we'll actually remove them from it too. Well, actually, we don't even need to do this. We'll just say clear fake blocks, because we already have it up here. If we redo it, then that'll be kind of redundant. So we're gonna clear their fake blocks, and we're gonna say queue fake blocks, or inject fake blocks. This will need to be the same as like set. We basically need to do this. Private void, set to map, and we just need to put in, no, we're not gonna do that. So that's fine, we have that, and then down here, we'll say this, but we'll say fake block, or queued fake blocks, queued if absent, and then we're gonna put in our map. Or no, this isn't on world change. No, this goes in. And since it's just that, we don't even need that. What we need to do here is say the player, and we need a map of the data. So we need simple block pose and block data. Well, actually, okay. So what are we doing up here? And big blocks, it's a map of locations and block data. And actually, it's this, so we need to do few big blocks, map of location. And blocks. There we go. So inject fake blocks, and this will add it to the queued map. We want to go down to, or we want to go up to our interface. We want to add it to this inject or also queue fake blocks. Not null player and we need the map of location block data block. There we go. And we go back here and we're just gonna rename this to queue fake blocks. And we're gonna override it. Okay, cool. And now to make our lives easier, we're gonna go here. We're gonna create another region for queue fake blocks. And so what did I do for overloads? I do simple block pose instead of location. Well, actually, I don't think I have any overloads for the multi-block simply blocks. Just so I don't even need to do this. So we're fine. Okay. This is what we need. So we're gonna queue it, and then we need a method to clear the queued fake blocks for the player. Clear queued fake blocks, and obviously not null. And we'll pass in an offline player. That way we can still use it like that. You don't need to be like that. Okay, cool. Alright, and of course now we need to implement that. Nope. Override. Clear queued fake blocks. Offline player. And we're going to copy the same thing there. Except we're going to say queued fake blocks. Queued fake blocks. Alright. Alright. Now we actually also need a method to get their cleared fake or their queued fake blocks. Queued fake blocks. You're going to be returning this. Get queued fake blocks. And we're going to pass in the player here. And since it's getting a little long, we're just going to do that. Cool. So, do we already have a getter method up here that we can... We'll do this, get fake block. Not get fake blocks, no. Alright, so how can we best do this? We could say, we do that. If, queued fake blocks contains key collections empty hash empty map. There we go. Okay. Now we can say, actually what we can do, we don't even need to, I don't know, which one's more efficient? It's just checking if it contains it more efficient? I feel like it would be. Then I get our default, I mean. Let's say return queued fake blocks dot get or default UID. But the thing is, this kind of makes this check up here redundant. So I'm just gonna say this. Thing is, I'm not sure if checking it with a boolean is actually faster first, but either way, there's two things that I'm doing. Like this is basically same thing as checking if it contains it or not. Right. So it checks contains key anyways, so we don't need to check that twice. We'll just do that. Am I doing that anywhere up here? Because if so, it's a bonus. I'm doing a get, a normal get, which will return null if it's not in there, so that's fine. Okay, I think we're good. So now we need to create this method in our thing here. We'll set that. And we'll say not null. Now an override. Here we go. So we should be able to access this stuff now through here. So we can say fake block handler get queued fake blocks for the player. And this is a map of our simple block pose and material. Fake blocks. There we go. So now that's queued. Okay, so simple block pose, it doesn't store the world or anything, so that's it's I think this is a custom object that I made. Yeah, it's just, oh no, it does, it stores the world UUID. And overrides a toString and hash code as well. So it's literally, oh yeah, and there's a world check. It just compares the UUIDs. But it doesn't store the world object, just the world's unique ID and the position of the block in integers, because you don't need floats or anything for block coordinates. Okay, now fake blocks for each pose material. We're gonna need to set the block state. This requires a block pose, so block pose X, Y, and Z. Pose X, pose Y, pose Z. We can just put this in here. And we also need the data. Material create block data. Unless this is, no, we need the block state. Create block state. Alright, and this is, it needs NMS block state, not bucket API block state. So that means we need to final block pose. I assume what we should be doing exactly is like chunk get block at or get block. We can get the block state from the block pose that we're checking. Can we do anything with this block state? We can check what it is. We can get its destroy speed. Let's see. Can we set? We can set the value. Try set value. No. So how do we create a new block state? I mean, we could try what we just did, which was material dot create block data, create block state, but there's something with these that breaks if it's not an actual block. Oh, not bound to a location. So this should be fine then. Block. We actually need to go craft block. And then Get state? No. Get handle? No, that's level accessor. Okay. I think there was like craft magic numbers dot the get block, and it returns block state. It requires material data. Material data. Right. So let's just say get state. No. Okay. There's a block, and we just pass in the material. State. For placement. Block place context. No. Oh, default block state. Okay, well that looks like it'll work. But I don't know if this will throw an error if the block isn't actually placed. So that's something we'll have to figure out. But there is that. We'll have to see what happens. But now we are setting the block state to the new block state from the fake blocks from the queued. And the only thing we can do now is I guess test it. So I'm gonna leave this comment in here just for in case we need it later. So yeah, the only thing we could really do now is test whether it works or not. And for that, I have no idea. Well, also, there's a problem actually because the position might not be in the chunk. So while this is good for this, it's not good for like if it's outside of the chunk, because this is for specific chunks at a time. That means we have to take that into account, which we're not currently. So what if I make a method to get for a specific chunk position? Get queued fake blocks. So this will just get all of them. Then I want another method for the specific chunk. I don't want to put chunk pose in here. There we go. Let's see integers. That's probably the simplest way to handle that. And so we'll return them for chunks or whatever. Now in here, we got to do that ourselves pretty much. Convert the chunk coordinates or whatever. So we'll have the queued fake blocks here. This is a map of simple block codes, material. Let's return blocks if it's empty. Alright, so then we have to basically stream entry set stream dot filter pretty much. We have to filter between the chunk start and whatever. And then collect collections.toMap. ToMap. Okay, I think that will work. Right, we have to do this, but that's not Actually, the filter itself should be. Okay. So let's. You know what I'll do? I'll pass this into ChatGPT and ask it for the best thing that we could do here. For advice on this. So the map in this method is a collection of all fake blocks the player should be seeing. I need to filter it for its filter to only return fake blocks in a specific map, right? Or in a specific chunk, I mean. The chunk coordinates are passed in as X and Z. I began an entry set stream filter. Alright, and let's see. Let's just see. Chunk coordinates which are derived from block coordinates. Alright. Right. So we need to shift it basically here. Yeah. Filter, entry. Right, okay. Yeah. See, that makes sense. I just don't typically remember the syntax or like what. Yeah, sometimes I have a hard time remembering like the syntax for all this stuff. So, I mean, yeah. I mean, it's obvious in hindsight, but anyways, entry get key is the simple block pose. Now it wants me to, which was to return true if the position shifted to 4. Alright, I see. Right, block pose dot x shifted 4 equals chunk x and I got that. No, I didn't. Yeah, that should do it. Actually, I don't know if I like the parentheses or not, to be honest. Alright. And then to map, or collect collectors to map. Alright. And then we just say, let's see again, this, I never remember what to put here, for example. So it's map at entry, get key, and get value. So there we go. And I think we want to turn this, there we go. It's interesting how the formatting is for this, but okay. So this should get it for a specific chunk, which is exactly what we want, because otherwise we'll be loading blocks outside of the chunk, which doesn't make sense because that's not net. Anyways, we'll say packet get x, packet get z, and there we go. Now we have it for the specific chunk. We hope. All right, so this should. And if this is empty, then it won't do anything because it's supposed to be looking through, and if it's empty, then it's not gonna. It'll have nothing to look through. Alright, so now I guess we just have to test it. And to do that, we have to register this listener, trunk load packet. In our main class, we already have an example of us registering these listeners. Packet registration. So this is packet listener, NMS factory, packet registry, register. Alright, so let's do that. So the NMS factory that we're registering to, basically, okay, so what I'm trying to say is, we're getting something from our NMS factory in here in its constructor, and that should be fine because we are already calling the NMS factory to get the handler before we register it. And we also already have it to disable the plugin and do nothing if there is no NMS handler. So yeah, so we just need to do this in our Minds module here. This way. Use command load packet. Okay. So that should do that. Now we're not actually using any of the byte buff stuff here, but we are setting the block state for it. So yeah, I don't know how it'll work, but we'll just have to hope it works. Oh yeah, and you also want to set their fake blocks in the map. So we're actually gonna need that open again, and then we're gonna have to remove from the queued blocks, which we could do outside of this packet. We don't need to well, actually I guess it would be better to do it in here. Get queued, and then we can remove it in here actually. If I can get my freaking mouse in the right position. Inch. Okay, so let's return in chunk, and then you can remove it now. Queued fake blocks. Okay. Right, this. Okay. So, queued fake blocks, right? Remove, now, let's see. I might actually make this a separate method as well. m.remove, and the block post is, because we'll have to loop through the map anyways. So let's just make it its own method here. There. Remove queued fake blocks. Yeah, I mean, I'll be 22 soon, so I'm not too young. I know it may sound like it. My voice isn't super deep, but yeah. I started coding like 4 or 5 years ago, and that was before AI was used like everywhere. So I kind of just did that. But I am actually using some ChatGPT here for like, a little bit of guidance, because this is all like you kind of gotta like I'm digging through like some source code that has like no resources online or anything about it. Um, so I'm using it for a little bit of guidance. But I think in my I don't know how you feel about it. Everyone feels different about AI, right? So I don't know how you feel about it, but I don't like the AI like Codella that just creates the plugin for you. When you type in a prompt in Codella, and then it makes the whole plugin for you. The whole project basically. It creates all the classes and the packages and everything. Even the Maven setup and makes for you, and then it even compiles it for you and everything. It fixes the bugs for you. I don't like AI like that. Um, but I do use ChatGPT, and I think it's important to distinguish what's there's a line in my opinion. Like don't let it do it for you. If you use it, you have to like understand what it's telling you before you just go and use it. Like don't just blindly follow it and whatever. You gotta you gotta understand it. Like make sure you understand. I use it like a faster Google pretty much, because even without AI, there's a lot of Googling involved in programming. Yeah, yeah. Like AI should be there to help speed up your workflow, not do your workflow for you. That's what I think. Especially when it comes to programming or art. Like a lot of people, there's people out there that just yeah, it's definitely faster. But there's a lot of people out there that make AI art and then either claim it as their own or call themselves prompt engineers or like something ridiculous like that. I think that's stupid. But yeah, AI is everywhere. You can't escape it really. It's in major game companies, it's in movies and media, it's in art. There's no getting away from it. Microsoft themselves are trying to get all their game studios to use AI in their production processes as well, which is annoying, but again, there's no escaping it really. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yeah. Well, I'm sure there would be like other developers would maybe make like a Python script for that or something. Yeah, I'm running a plugin right now for it for Minecraft. I'll show you what I have right now. I made an Omni tool. I made some backpacks to store mind blocks in, and everything you see here, all these blocks are not real. The server doesn't recognize these as blocks. What I'm walking on right now is actually air for the server, but on my end, I can see these as actual blocks and stuff. And that requires intercepting packets sent between the player and the server and changing how players interact with these fake blocks. Because if I didn't do that, then if I was to right-click any of these blocks, it would just disappear into air. So, yeah, you have to do that. You have to make it so that they can mine it. Like, I can't place any blocks on here because it's, oh, well, I guess right there apparently, for some reason. But, yeah. No, no, plans are not changed. I am still in college actually for that. Yeah. I should be graduating sometime this year. Um, later this year. So that is the plan still. Let's see. And material. So Actually, we don't even need this. We just need a set of block positions. All right. So now we can go to. We can get the blocks here. Just return if it's not, if it's empty, because there's nothing to remove or anything. Right, we do need the player. This can be an offline player as well, because all we're doing is getting their unique ID. All right. So let's see. Sorry if you can hear the barking in the background. I should have set up my noise cancellation stuff, so it should be blocked out. Right, blocks dot remove block positions. Blocks remove. Right, that's right. Okay, yeah. Lambda didn't work because I had a variable there already. So I should remove it. Remove any possible position. So now, of course, we have to put this in our interface to be able to access it. And now, after we load them, we can now remove two fake blocks for the player, and we want the fake blocks dot values. And that. Oh wait, no, the key set. I want the key set. There we go. So now, after it sets the block poses to those fake blocks, it'll remove them from the queued map. Otherwise, it'll keep trying to do it because they're queued. Okay. Otherwise, it'll keep trying to loop through and set fake blocks. You know, actually, we can make this a little bit faster, so we don't have to do this. We can just say, we'll just return, because while it wouldn't do anything if it's empty right here, it will still pass it in here and try to do stuff there. So, even though it checks here, we could also check here. We could say if block positions is empty, but you know, we're already checking. There's just a little less headway, you know, like this. So we could be safer and check here, but it doesn't really matter because it won't do anything if it's empty. Anyways, but checking like this beforehand, before we pass it in, will just completely skip over this stuff as well, and it's important. Especially if the player's going to be loading chunks, packets, which they will be for a while, or constantly. Again, we just have to check this if this actually works now, and we're going to go to the mine command here, and instead of doing this, we're going to queue the fake blocks for the paste data, and we're going to do that before we teleport them. That means just here, that there, and then they'll teleport. The thing is, we also need to check if they're already in the world or at like the chunks for those locations, and that's gonna be another hassle. Or we can, or maybe there's a way to send the chunk data or something. I don't know. Let's just see if this works for now, because if it doesn't, then we've made no progress. Or we've made no progress anyways. You stop server. Alright. Alright, it's loading up. And it's done. Okay. So before we run the mine command, we have to get out of this world. Hello? This is not exactly making much sense. Jump to the world. Alright, there's... There are no way to... Okay, Minecraft. It's not like... It's not like having world-changing commands. Jump to... I don't understand. How does this command work? And why is it not just one world and 3 vector components? World, X, Y, and Z. 10, 10. That's what I'm doing. Why is it not want to work? Saying that it's worked. Oh, I'm in mine, so I need to go to world. Nope, it's alright. It doesn't work apparently. Alright. I'm gonna need to get like essentials or something, which is annoying. Just to change worlds. Great. Or I could just create a little command to do it for me, but I don't want to have a command like that in my plugin. Because players are going to have plugins to do it themselves anyways. So I'm just going to go ahead and get the plugins. Alright. Okay. And I guess I'll get that one. Alright. Alright, there's that. We got Essentials X, Essentials Spawn, and Essentials Chat. We'll go ahead and put those in the plugins folder. Alright, great. We'll run again. Okay. Oh my, Minecraft sucks. Let me tell you, they do not like letting me just remain logged in. All right, let me relog in. I don't understand what their problem is with just staying logged in. Like there's no, what's wrong? Minecraft just sucks, man. All right, this one. Something went wrong. All right, great, thanks. Something went wrong. All right, what's the problem? There's no way the Minecraft servers are down or anything. Am I gonna have to restart my game entirely? Finally. Okay. We're back. That is such a nuisance. Log in. Alright. Thank you. Okay. Alright. Worlds. World. Thank you. Essentials. Why am I in the ground? I mean, it's because it just took the same coordinate. I'm just gonna set spawn and do /spawn whenever I need to get back. That'll be better. There. Okay. Alright. So, mine. Alright. No, did not work, and I got a lot of errors and or warnings. Nope, and errors. Alright. On place. Right, so I think it doesn't like... yeah, it doesn't like setting the block state, I think. Asynchronous block on place. That's why. You can't place blocks asynchronously. But that means that the set block state is not actually setting like fake blocks. Because if I go back to... well, you see the schematic command? It simply sets the fake blocks or whatever. Right. It just sends the fake blocks. And the block data is from Bucket, not Minecraft. Alright. So we can't do... I don't think we can do set blocks. I think this actually tries to set the block itself, not just for the player. And that's unfortunate. So... and we're also, I forgot, we're gonna have to populate the map as well with like the actual fake block map for the player. And we also didn't do the on-world change listener, so we're just gonna go ahead and do that. World change listener. On world change event. Player will parrot change world event. Right. And we can do private final fake block handler public world change listener animus factory okay. Clear fake blocks event. Okay, there we go. Then we need to register this listener, which I can do here. Register events, new, no change listener, and do login. There we go. That's registered now. It should be that. Fake block handler. We need to Right, send, we need a method to set fake block to the map here. I think what we'll do is basically the same as set queued here. Alright. And now we need to copy this signature here. Go back here. And there we go. Now in here. Really? Alright, location block data. Okay, then that's annoying. I don't want to have to deal with that, so should just be simple block pose actually. And material. And same thing here. Simple block pose and material. That way, we just put all blocks like that. Perfect. There, and there. Now it's in their map for later, and they can manage that and whatever. Okay, so let's see. This does not solve the problem of the set block state for the chunk, though. Because I think it's trying to set real blocks. But let's actually say... let's just theorize here. The way to fix this current issue is to run the task through the scheduler, and that'll make it run synchronously, not asynchronously. So let's do this. Just like that. And now it should be running synchronously. Just like that. Alright, so this should like, I think you get the point. It should fix the current error in console, but I'm not 100% sure if it's actually what we want, if it'll be fake blocks or real blocks. So because it's setting the block state for the chunk, not for the player, which there's a problem. But it is a packet being sent to the player. We'll test it. I think it's the only thing we can do is just test it and see what it's actually doing or not. Make sure I built it. I always forget, like, I built a project and then I immediately forget that I already built it. But I don't know if I did or not. But we'll see. All right. Okay, so, world, let's just spawn. Okay, now let's see if it'll work or not. Mine. Okay. Well, it set a couple of blocks, but it didn't do the whole thing. Oh. No, it did. But on the server side, not on my end. because they, they're here. I just can't see them. So what happens now if I relog them? Because if the, yep. All right, I figured these are all real blocks, and that's not what we want. We want to send it to the player side, not the server side, which is what this is doing. Which kind of completely, yeah, it's not what we want. So I'm gonna go ahead and just remove everything except for gold block, pretty much. Bedrock, oak planks, glowstone with air. There we go. And then this, bedrock. Alright. So this is not what we want. We don't want to set block state because that is setting real block. So let me go ahead and see. Okay, so what else? What can we do instead of set block state? Let's do this here. Alright, check it to you. You were telling me to do the block state. This, when a chunk load packet is sent to the player, currently it sets any few fake blocks for that player, at the chunk, for that chunk, at the block positions. Case correctly, but the problem is it sets for the server side. I need it to only send for the player side. Essentially, currently, it's not fake blocks anymore. And that's due to chunk set block state. So I can't just do player send block change again because the chunk isn't loaded at this time. We're trying to no, it's not after. So packet with per player only block repeats. For 3 blocks, we're gonna output a few thousand. Right. Yeah, but this doesn't work. I'm already doing this essentially. But the problem is if we're loading into a new world, it senses before, before the chunk loads, so it doesn't do anything because the chunk isn't loaded for that player. And what I was just doing before we even started the stream, what I ended on last stream was to delay the send block change until the chunk is loaded for 5 seconds. And that looks bad. Yes, this is what I'm trying to do. Send block change no. I don't believe send block change works because chunk is currently being loaded. I need to modify the chunk that is being sent to the player to make them think what are there. Otherwise, they'll load into an empty world. But otherwise, if we delay the send block change, they'll load into an empty world and see them pop up, which is not what we want. And if Send block change, and the chunk isn't loaded, nothing happens. So yeah. I'm just gonna load it as soon as the packet is processed, not when it's rendered. Yes, when it's processed, but this packet is processing it. It's being sent to the player, and we need to modify it. Palette compressed, bit pack, version stable. Right? Next tick on the main thread. All right, well let's do what they recommended. Then let's try it because why not? Why not see what happens? Send block change. Right? Are they doing okay? So they loop through it. I'll just do a for each, and we're gonna comment this out, and we're gonna say, send multi-block change, or yeah, let's just do that. So we need the map. Oh no, we're doing multi-block change. We don't need to loop through it. New location, player, get world, what, pose.x, pose.y, pose.z. Okay. And of course, get block material, equal block state data. No, okay. Get data. Okay, there we go. Create craft block. This returns bucket craft block data. Okay, I'm just gonna roll. Let's see. Enter like it. Oh yeah. First, create block data. There you go. That's what we want. Okay. This should. I don't know. Let's just see what happens. Because I thought that the whole point of listening to this packet is to actually have it show up. But we'll see. Because this is sending it in the loading packet. I don't know. I'm honestly doubting that this will work. But if it does work, then cool. But I doubt it. This is the whole point of listening to this packet. But it is being delayed by a tick. So it is sending it and then being delayed by a tick. So let's see. Spawn. Okay, and then mine. Yeah, I figured. Just not do anything. One tick after chunk. No popping. No. Yeah. Yeah, as I figured, even with the one tick after chunk load doesn't do anything. Alright. Then okay. I'm even listening. The chunk loading packet is to modify it or cancel it and resend it with the blocks we want them to see. Yeah. Yeah, it's exactly. That's the whole reason why we're doing this. Cancel the chunk packet and send your own. Yes, this might. One of these. No, we're not doing that. That's not. That's too. That's not gonna work. Um, chunk, chunk set block state. And also this does a real block. Yeah, chunk data, by array buffer. Yes, I'm completely fine with doing this. I don't know why it's saying, oh, it's, clone the chunk data, not the chunk. You do not clone level chunk. Yeah, I wouldn't think you would clone the whole chunk. See, this is, okay, see, this is exactly why I didn't remove any of this stuff yet. Because I knew, well, I knew this wouldn't work, but I was hoping that this would work. But unfortunately this sets it for the server too, which is not what we want. I mean, obviously, we're doing chunk and then set block state, not, yeah, we're not, okay. Duh. Alright. Let's roll it back here. We do want these still, because this is our internal storage for fake blocks, so we want to update. But this, we kind of need to go through, right? So... import, right? This here, I'm trying to read through the buffer of chunk data. So it wants me to clone it or whatever. So this is not even a class. Good job. This is why you don't just trust everything, because it just assumes what's real and what's not. But it is get chunk data, so it's this. So we already have a chunk data. Let's just remove all this for now. It wants you to make a new friendly byte buff. New friendly byte buff with the uncooled, uncooled wrap buffer of the chunk packet data dot get read buffer. Okay, so now we have a new byte buff, so we're basically cloning it. Then for each section, now you have a mutable palette container. So like level chunk section. Is that even a thing? Yeah, it is. Level chunk section. So how do we get the chunk section? Level chunk section. Okay. Does this even work? Byte buff? No. Palette container factory. And this is deprecated, but this one isn't. Level chunk post chunk section Y. Right. Level chunk section. Right. So it's assuming the wrong thing, because there's no way to pass that byte buffer in. Right, I mean, it's giving me the what I should do, but not how to do it correctly, because yeah, I know that's why we're in an MS module. Send manually cancel original. Yeah. If we need to cancel it, that's easy. I made a way to do this already. Then you can go context set cancel true, and that will cancel it and not send it. Although, okay, I don't know if this will break the player or anything, but let's see. Yeah. So what if I do chunk get section? We can get a section, or we can get sections, and a section index for the y coordinate. So there is no little chunk section with a friendly byte buff, but there is a, I can get the level chunk and sections for a specific section with the y coordinate. For the index, or with section index with the y coordinate of the section, with the y coordinate, and the section with the section index. Alright. I'm not gonna lie, man. This, I don't know, I'm sitting a little further away from my laptop monitor, which is what I'm streaming on right here. I think my glasses just aren't good enough for it. I'm like squinting a bit. It's hurting my head. Yeah, so you don't want to do that. So I don't. This is why I was never able to finish Astra, specifically this part here. Why can't we just like this is a packet of data being sent to the player, so why can't we modify the buffer? I mean, this is a read buffer, so you can't modify it, but we create a new buffer, and then we just modify the block palette. That's my goal. That's the whole goal here. But yeah, so that's the goal. And how we do that, I don't know. That's yeah. I'm thinking what we need to do is modify the block palette in the friendly byte buff that we copied. Since the front packet data is just a get read buffer, and then send a new packet with a new friendly byte buff or something. If we can even do that. How do we, okay, let's look at how we create client found level with trunk data packet. There's the chunk, and there's the block states chunk packet info, or chunk packet info with the block states. And then there's the registry friendly byte buffer, and it's byte buff. Let me say get X, get C, but this isn't a registry friendly byte buff. So then what is a registry friendly byte buff? Okay, so it extends from friendly byte buff. Alright. Registry friendly byte buff. But in order to make one of those, we need the source byte buff and the registry access. I'm not sure how to do. Registry access dot, there's an empty, but logger, I'm gonna do empty. Okay, I don't know what empty means. It's of type frozen. Right. Okay, well, I don't know, but we have new byte buff, but this still means we have to modify the byte buff. So what about the other constructor? New packet equals new. So there was another constructor with the level chunk engine bit set. Right. Well, okay, what was I was just looking at it like a different packet, I feel like. Right, I was looking at this by mistake. This creates the packet info or data. For the actual light packet, we need some other things. Skylight, block light. We could just pass in the friendly byte buffer as well. Okay, so we at least know that the first two ints are the X and Z coordinate. Right. Chunk data and light data. And they pass in the buffer. Okay, so packet data. Again, this is just a friendly byte buff, not registry friendly one. So I don't know. It's confusing. Let's just ignore that then. Let's get chunk data and light data. You know, the Packet X packet Z. Okay, right. This really wants a registry friendly byte buff. Why can't I just pass in the dang byte buff and there you go? Because it extends a friendly byte buff. You pass in this source, but then you need the... I don't know what registry access it wants, or what each one means. From registry of registries? I don't know. Again, we'll just try this. Okay, so there's the trunk data, and then the light data. But this does not actually help, because we could just pass this into this constructor. The registry friendly byte buffer. Or not. Oh, it's private, that's why. Great, alright. So that means we do need to get this stuff. We can't just pass in the dang... Okay. Yeah, see, this is annoying. We really haven't accomplished much this stream, but I kind of went in expecting that because, again, this is not my first time trying to tackle this. It's just, I don't, it's so complicated because there's no resources out there that do this. There's gotta be a way to just modify the block palette. Chunk packet info full of block states, right? There's the chunk packet and that. So chunk packet info of block state. Block state. Chunk packet info. We have this packet and we have, what else did it want? I wish it would tell me when I go to type it. The level chunk. So packet. You need to get the level chunk again, of course. And get world, get handle, get chunk, packet, get X, packet, get C. Right. Packet info. There's the buffer, there's a set buffer, there's bits, set palette. Right. Can we do that? Chunk packet info, set palette, and this should be a palette of block states. Yes. Chunk section index. So now we need to figure out what index of the, the chunk section index. Is it the same as converting a chunk or a block coordinate to a, section. No. Okay, what if I just pass in one? And just for now, just to see. We need to make a palette of block state. Global palette. Okay, and then what is the state? The registry. Okay, man, I hate these registries. New palette. And if I just... Right. Read write. Size. Copy. So I basically need to make my own implementation of it right here. But I don't want to do that. It should already be one. It should already be a palette that for an implementation. But there does not appear to be. And the global palette, but of course it needs the registry, and I don't know, like, what is this for? Provider registry.block. I don't think it's block. Also, it doesn't even work. It needs an ID map. ID. Doesn't need the registry, needs the ID map. Which is what? Full? Other than that, doesn't work. The name. Yeah, I don't. See what I mean? Like I'm shooting in the dark here with all this Minecraft code, and that's the problem here. Set palette. It needs the palette, but in order to make a palette, okay. What makes me think is like we go back to the schematic specifications, and this talks about the block palette. Right, if we go up. Or block, oh no, it has a block container. With the block container, it has a palette, right? Palette object. But this is for schematic stuff, so I don't know if it's using actual Minecraft palette. Hello, welcome in. I don't think. Don't know. We should be able to get palette from the package, right? That would make sense. The chunk packet info, and that goes into the data. The data takes the info and sets the buffer or extract trunk data. what it requires. But info. How do we get the info? Basically, I think it needs to be. No, I don't think it sets the info anywhere. So I don't think we can reconstruct the info to pass in. Level chunk section. So there is a chunk get sections, and then they loop through them, and then they write buffer, chunk, packet info, and then section. But this also does not help. Not really. What about pallets and stuff? Because I don't think we need that here. Well, we can create chunk packet info right here. This is reconstructing it with a level chunk and a packet. So the level chunk, it has the chunk packet, the chunk. The bits is a new int of sections, which is from chunk sections. Pallets is a new object of sections, a new object of rep sections, or of size sections. Right. And then for pallets, get pallet. We can get a pallet. No chunk packet info. Okay. Is there no... Yeah, okay. So... get pallet and then chunk section. Okay, pallet block state. Block pallet dot. We can copy it. We can size. We can read. We can get the IP for it or whatever. We check that it has block state. And we can write with the friendly byte buff and ID map. Again, I don't know what the ID map is or how to get the ID map. There's a codec. There's alright. I think what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna end the stream for today. It's been a good 2 hours. Just haven't made a lot of progress, but I guess the whole purpose of the stream is to try to get a better understanding of what we're working with. I guess I'll continue to look at it off stream. I know I said I would do this in the last stream. I said I would check it out off stream, but I haven't. But hey, if nothing else, it was a pretty chill stream. If anyone's watching right now, I hope it was relaxing at least. Maybe background noise. I know a lot of people like to watch these types of streams as background noise. But yeah, I'm getting a headache from all the squinting I'm doing. I'm gonna have to like up the scale of the text or something, but then that would ruin it for the stream. I can't do that, but let's see. I'll maybe have to just lean in closer or something. Or I could use my bigger monitor, but also then, I don't know. I'll figure it out. But anyways, thanks for tuning in, everybody. I am determined to finally get this part done because this one packet has been holding me back forever, pretty much. Every time I want to work on fake block private mines, it's this part that is not working. And other people there, my friend figured it out, but he's using an API from packet events, and I don't want to have to use packet events or protocol lib. So it might make it easier, but not in my opinion. I don't know, maybe we can look at the protocol stuff and see how it is laid out. Let me actually look that up real quick. It's like Minecraft wiki protocol or something. So it's not this stuff. Wiki VG. Right. I get wiki VG packets. Protocol packets. And I'll search for level chunk. Nope. There's configuration, there's login, handshaking, packet format. Right, I feel like this would help me out here. Play, client found, block update. Is not a stable action. Yeah. Block update and boss. This is a tiny thing for block update. Chunk data and update light. Yeah, here we go. Okay, let's see. Not down there. That's world event chunk data and update light. Okay, I might want to look at that. Also on look chunk. Sent when a chunk comes into the client's view distance, specifying its terrain, lighting, and block entities. Chunk must be within the view area previously specified with the sent center chunk. That doesn't matter because I am just doing this stuff. So there's chunk data here. There's a link for that. So chunk data. So there's height maps. Block entities, which we're not really going to touch, but there's this chunk format data structure. Array of chunk section. Palette container structure, bits per entry, palette. This is a whole, oh my gosh, this is a lot. No chunk section. Block count, short, block states, yeah. That's what we want to modify. So palette container structure. Palette varies, see palette formats below. So block palette. So there's a 0 single valued, 4 to 8 indirect, and 15. Sorry, I don't know what. Oh, palette format, single valued, indirect. Single valued is a varant. The palette length and the palette array of varant. Right, so they don't just store, and I guess that's the reason for the ID map and like the registry or whatever. They're not storing like the actual block data. Like they're not showing like everything about the block state or whatever. It's like it's probably just like a number to attach to like what material it is or something, which is much more efficient than storing like everything. But yeah, that's why it's mapping of IDs in the global palette. Okay, so that means it's in the global palette. I don't know. And then direct. Global palette IDs are stored directly as entries. Okay. Once palette format is used, the data array is empty, since entries can be inferred from the palette's single value. Oh, single valued, and then it has a value field, which is the ID of the entry in the global palette. But then direct is just the ID itself and not anything in it. Okay, I see. And here's an example of the hex stuff. Oh man, see, this is what I mean. This is so much information. We'll figure it out. I'll figure it out sometime. I don't know. I might stream again when I try to figure it out next time, but I don't know. We'll have to see. There's a lot. There's a lot here. So, anyways, again, thanks for tuning in. Gosh, so much to do for this one little feature. And yeah. So thanks for tuning in, and hope to see you in the next one. If you'd like, join my Discord server. I ping there whenever I go live. With the coding streams role or the gaming streams role, I do stream games sometimes. Although I just came back to streaming, I took like a 5-month break. The last stream was like 2 days ago. But yeah, before that it was like a 5-month break, but I'm back, and hopefully I'll be streaming more. Again, I don't really have a schedule or anything, it's just whenever I feel like going live. But I know I should get a schedule, but then that means, oh, I have to stream on these days, or oh, I can't really stream on the days that aren't listed, you know. Maybe what I can do is set up a schedule of like just only required days for streaming, but that doesn't mean I can't stream in between them or something. I don't know. It's complicated. There's a lot of commitment to a schedule. We'll see. I know it's fine if I miss a day or something, but yeah, we'll see. Anyways, yep, I'll see you guys in the next one. If you're on Twitch, hop over to YouTube. All of my streams are in 1440p over there, and under my live tab, every previous stream is there. They don't disappear. So yeah, if you want to see any previous streams, they're on my YouTube. And if you want to watch live in 1440p, I'm also streaming to YouTube. So I stream on both YouTube and Twitch, but Twitch only allows me to stream up to 1080p. So that's why Twitch is a little bit lower in quality than YouTube. But yeah, so if you're ever watching on Twitch and you want to watch in slightly higher quality, then you know, the YouTube is available for that. And also permanent VODs. So it's cool. Yeah, let me end it. It's every time I end a stream, I end up ranting, but yeah, see you guys next time, whenever that may be. And thanks again for tuning in.